matches the stuff that I bet you've been talking about. So we're going to read a book about redwoods. Have you heard of it? Let's take a look. Take a seat. So we'll read it 2 times. The first time I'll read to you, and then the second time you get to read to me. What do you think it's a book about? Let's just look at some of the pictures.
Sorry, Ms. Crone, I have to interrupt. I just remembered. So yesterday, Freddie's aunt and uncle came in and told me that tomorrow is actually going to be his last day.
Oh, it is?
So, and I totally forgot to tell you that.
Oh,
and I just thought about it now when you walked out, and I was like, oh my gosh,
Would
tomorrow's
it be
his last
possible
day.
to work with him
So, yes.
sometime during the day?
You can work with him as much as you need. I just didn't remember how many times you had to meet with him.
Just
what?
2 would be awesome.
Okay. So that's
Is that okay?
Tomorrow was great. Yeah, I was
Okay.
just like, oh my gosh, I didn't tell her.
Okay.
That tomorrow cleared my brain.
That's okay. Thank you.
the
I'm
play.
so glad you told me.
But yes, I wanted to make sure you knew that your lovely test subject only has 2 more days. Because then he's going to Mexico to see his family, right? Your mom and dad? You're going to see it after Friday. So that'll be
¿Estás
fun.
emocionado? ¿No estás emocionado? Sí. He's excited. I have said
Cool.
He's excited.
So sorry, just want to let you, yeah.
It's okay. I'm glad. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Let's take a look. What do you think it's about?
It's about animals that hate on animals.
Okay. What makes you think that? Why do you think it's about animals? Let's look a little further. We're close. We're close. What do you think? What do you think it's a book about? What kind of things do you see in every photo?
Trees.
It's a book about trees. The trees are called redwoods. And there's something really special about redwoods. We're going to find out when we read the book. And it just happens that redwoods grow in the region that you're studying for your project. So all the things that you've been talking about and trying to use to convince people to travel to your region, this would be one of them that you could add. So redwoods are trees. And while we're reading, we're gonna think about a couple things. So I want you to tell me what you think you already know about these redwoods. So if I were filling this out, for the know part, I would write, and you can do this with me. For the know part, I would write, I already know that redwoods are trees. Why don't you write that with me? I already know that redwoods are trees. Is there anything else that you already know about these trees? Let's look at the pictures again. What do you know about trees? You could tell me anything about trees. What do you know about them? What different parts do they have? What is that? Oh, you know that they're big. You can see from the picture that these redwoods are really big. Let's write that. I already know that they are big. I already know the trees are big.
Green.
You could say green too. You know that they're green. So we could do that for a separate one. You could say, I know that they're green. Let's add the last letter to green. What is the last letter of green? Green. And I already know that perfect. So you know 3 things already. What do you want to know? When we read this, what kinds of things do you want to learn? What do you wonder? What do you wonder about redwoods? I can tell you one thing I wonder. I want to know how big they grow because they look pretty big to me. I want to know how tall they are. So I'm going to write here, under what I want to know, I want to know how tall they are. What do you think? What's something that you want to know about these trees?
How do they make them? How do they grow?
How do they grow? Good. So let's write down here, I want to know how they grow.
Yeah.
How they grow. We're missing one letter. You don't hear it, but I'm gonna make it.
I get it.
Do you know which one it is? Grow.
W?
Mm-hmm. Got it. I want to know how they grow. What else do you wonder? What else do you want to know about these trees?
How they cut them?
Ooh, that's interesting. How they cut them. So we don't have another how, so we'll write it on our own. Or you could write it underneath how they grow. Because we want to know, there are other ones here. I want to know where, I want to know when, I want to know why, I want to know who. You just gave me a how one again. I want to know how they cut them.
But I want to know why.
Why what?
They are there?
Why they're there. Let's write it. I want to know why they are there. We're going to change this to Hola, Tomás.
Hola.
¿Cómo estás?
Good.
Bien.
Bien. Guess what? Are you ready to be so surprised by this?
Yes.
Remember how I failed Spanish in middle school? I'm taking honors Spanish next year.
No way.
Yep. I'm going to take honors next year. Then I'll do conversational in 4 as a junior and then AP as a senior.
That is fantastic. Oh my gosh. That is the best news.
Yeah.
You should be proud of yourself.
I did.
That's great.
Do you know Miss Aikens at the high school? Yep.
She's
I had
tough.
her. She is, and I don't know why, but she just fit me really well. And
Good.
I fell in love with Spanish.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So great to hear it. Everything else is good?
Yep, everything else is good.
Good.
I'm taking biology this year, and I have a B+, and the next year I'm in chemistry.
It
Taking
sounds like
an
you're
online math
thriving.
class
That's
so that I
great.
can go up in math and everything.
That's awesome.
What are you
It's so
working
nice.
on?
We're reading a book about redwoods, and we're
Oh my.
writing questions that we have about the book.
Very cool.
It's great to see you. Thanks
yeah,
for stopping
I heard
in.
you have my sister.
I've got your sister. Yeah,
How
and
is
I'll
she
have her
doing
next.
in Spanish?
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Runs in the family.
See you, Tomas.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Let's look back at this one. I want to know why they are there. What sound does this make? The.
D.
It's not a D. It's actually a
T-H.
mhm,
E.
T-H-Y.
A.
They, yeah, T-H-E-Y.
H.
Are there. That's the same sound. There. Great. We'll go with those two. I want to know how they grow and why they are there. And this last column, this last box, is to fill out when you learn it. So we're going to read, and you're going to try to listen for the answers to these two questions, how they grow and why they are there. And we also want to listen for how tall they are. Okay? Let's take a look. Redwoods by Jason Chin. The coast redwoods are among the oldest trees in the world. Their ancestors, so the trees before them, the trees before them, lived about 165 million years ago during the Jurassic period. The Jurassic period is when the dinosaurs lived. That's why we see the dinosaurs. One tree can live for more than 2,000 years. 2,000 years, which means they are trees alive today that first came up during the Roman Empire. It's a long time ago. Redwoods have shallow, not deep, shallow root systems that travel more than 100 feet from the tree. They help the trees stand, and they need all the help they can get because they are the tallest living things on the planet. Redwoods regularly grow to be more than 200 feet tall. Did we answer one of our questions? I want to know how tall they are. Got an answer. I learned that redwoods are more than 200 feet tall. So I'm going to write here. I learned that redwoods
What time is it?
are more than 200 feet tall. Let's write that under what we learned. I learned that okay. A redwood trunk can be 29 feet in diameter. That's like the length of this room. That's like from that wall to that wall. That's how thick the trunk is. That's so wide that a tunnel can be cut in it big enough for a car to drive through. Amazingly, such a tall tree starts from a seed about the size of a tomato seed. So just tiny. A 1-inch long cone that houses the seed, that holds the seed, falls to the ground And if the conditions are right, the tree will sprout. With enough light and water, a redwood sapling, a small tree, can grow fast, up to 2 feet per year. Does this answer one of our questions?
Mhm.
Which one does it answer? You wrote a question. I want to know how they grow. What here tells you how the tree grows? What does it need? What does it need to grow?
Sun and water.
It needs good. It needs light and water. Let's write that. I learned that redwoods, you wrote that up here. Redwoods need sun and water. Good. We're really close. Need has 2 E's. And water is spelled like this. Nice job. Redwoods also grow from other redwoods. When a tree falls or is cut down, new trees can sprout from big round masses along its trunk called burls. So these are called, these things right here that come out of its trunk are called burls. Often several trees will grow from the burls on one stump. If you see a ring of redwoods in the forest, they probably all came up from the same stump. So if you saw all these trees in the forest, they probably came from this. One reason that redwoods are able to live for so long and grow to be so tall is that they are very good at defending, so protecting themselves. Their wood contains a lot of tannin, a chemical that protects them from infections, so things getting into their inside and harming them. Redwoods are also well suited to live through fire, so the whole forest can burn and they'll still live. If there is a fire, their extremely thick bark shields them from the heat, keeps them protected from the heat, just like the heat-resistant tiles on a space shuttle. So the tiles are on the outside of a spaceship that keep it safe from the heat of the sun. Their branches don't start until very high up, so they grow and they grow and they grow, and then the branches come out, which also helps protect them from fire, since most forest fires can't reach their needles. So they're so high that if there's a fire burning through the forest, their leaves and their branches don't get burnt. We'll finish. We'll work again tomorrow, and we'll read the rest of this, but you did a really nice job. Hasta luego. Diviértate.
I'm so sweaty.
May I have your attention, please? This is just a reminder that tomorrow is coming for the playground. Please remember to bring your towels so we can all celebrate.